Hey, this is Monopoly, and I just want to show you the third place, where I decided to stay on my journey to success. I had to find places to stay since I got here in Miami. I took the Greyhound bus with only the money in my pocket and the phone in my pocket. So I had to find places to stay. I didn't know anybody, I didn't have anybody. This right here is the third place, right there in that cubby hole. It does say no trespassing, but you got to do what you got to do, to be successful. So it was right there in that cubby hole right there. That's where I decided to stay. This path I still walk. I still meditate and pray on this path. So I was coming by here one day and I seen all these cubby holes and I said, that would keep me out of the rain and that would be great to crash out. So that's what I did. I crashed out first couple nights just to test it. Threw my sweater down, crashed out on the concrete. And when I seen that it was all right, I went down to the Goodwill. I had that e-bike. Went down there, bought a suitcase, some pillows, or a pillow, and a blanket, 2 blankets. Threw one down, folded up, and then I used one to cover up with, which it was, pretty hot here in Florida still at night. But, mosquitoes, yeah, I, kept spray to spray myself. And, they stayed away pretty good. But I'll take you up here and show you it. I take the e-bike up here every night. Take the e-bike right up here, right up this, and that's what I would do. I just came up here, I found this spot, crashed out right here on the concrete, up under this bridge. Nice little cubby hole, didn't get rained on, crashed out right there. What I would do is I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd stuff my stuff up under there, the suitcase, I'd put the blankets and everything in the suitcase, I would stuff it under there. It was perfect room. Nobody seen it. Nobody bothered it. Get up at 5 when it's still dark. Go out to work. Had to be at work at 6:30. And then I would come here at 10 o'clock when it's dark. And I would crash out and nobody was coming. And that's what I did I stayed here for about a week or so. And then I'll show you the fourth spot that I crashed out in. It's right here. This is a big park, Markham Park in Sunrise, Florida, right by Weston. Real nice area. And right here, back here in this path, there's the fourth spot I crashed out at, because right there was all right, but, I was so worried that, the park ranger or somebody would find out about it. So I came back here one day, I seen it was secluded, and I thought about going up there, up that hill right there, and going there and crashing out, where no one would, really see me or anything, but I decided it was too steep to take the e-bike, so I didn't want to go there. But this is all secluded back here. It's our little path, but once you're back here, no one, knows you're back here. Is a big fishing hole and a trail that's right back there. And what I did is I went right back here, and nobody comes back here. The dirt bikes, four-wheelers came back here sometimes. Yeah, the mosquitoes were bad. When I'd get off work, I would chill in the park and everything, do what I had to do. And I would come back here at 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock when it was already dark. I'd swat the mosquitoes, that was surrounding me. So I got back here and, I found a nice real spot back here. And, I threw a tent up, threw a nice size tent up. And once I got in a tent, I would spray myself and I would crash out. I just came here to crash out. I wouldn't come here, any other time. I think homeless people, they mess up because they go in their spots and they leave trash all over the place and, they just make it look bad, and I think that's why they get kicked out a lot of places. But I came here just to crash out, never had no trouble. I was here for about a month, maybe a little over a month, never had not one single problem. But I thought about going up there in that cubby, but I decided it was too steep to go up there. It's just a field here. No one even knew I was back here. But here as it is, back here, here it is, you know, back here in this path. The tent still might be here actually. I don't know if anybody's staying back here or not. But right here is the path, and it would get real flooded out in the rainy season. About August, September, it would flood out back here. Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, tent's still here. It would flood out real bad right here. But there it is. There's the tent still there. No one messed with it. No one messed with me, even though they could probably see me back here. But, you know, no one came back here. Park ranger, nobody came back here. You know, they're pretty cool anyway. But, yeah, let's see if there's anybody in here. Nope. Here's that suitcase. Yeah, I went to Walmart, bought a battery fan. There's the box for the tent. There's a suitcase. Just had some trash in that I left in there, that water bottle. Here's a mat that I got at the hospital I'm working at. Hospital mat. It was, you know, nice and comfy. You know, but what happened was it flooded out real bad the last night I stayed here, which I already had the money saved up for the transit van anyway. But it flooded out so bad, because right here in this ditch would flood out, but it wouldn't never come up the hill to the tent. And it flooded out when I came back here the last night. It flooded out so bad, this whole tent was under about 5 inches of water, and I slept on that mat like a waterbed that night. And the next night is when I went and got that transit van. So it worked out pretty good. You know, the Lord's been blessing me this whole time. I mean, I came here with nothing. You got to remember, I came here to Miami with nothing, literally nothing. I stayed in a storage unit at first, downtown Miami. Stayed there until they started closing at 6. And then I had to find another place to go. I found this, you know, this bush. I stayed in back of it. It was big enough. I threw a little kid's tent back there. Stayed there for about a week or two. And then I found this job here in Sunrise. Then that's when I stayed in that cubby for about a week, and I came back here in this tent. I would take my scooter. I ended up getting you know, the e-bike, and then I got that 50cc scooters. I would park it right back there when it would flood out, you know, in this ditch, and I would go through the woods there and go to the tent. You know, they would come back here, you know, with the dirt bikes or four-wheelers sometimes, but, you know, it didn't bother me. They didn't know I was back there. At least they never came back here and bothered me or nothing. And I stayed there for about a month and a half. And then that's when I saved up, saving up. You know, I don't have no habits. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do none of that. I just saving up for success, investing my money to be successful. You know, I only been here for about 3 months, almost 4 months. Got here at the end of June. You know, it's the end of October now. And that's what I've been doing, saving up. I got me a transit van now. I made a bunk, or not a bunk, but I bought a futon, put the futon in the back. Got me a cooler, you know, something simple. Got me some, you know, I got a bigger storage unit, 10 by 25. And that's where I keep my lawn equipment. I bought some lawn equipment, invested in lawn equipment. I got some shelves at the hospital that I'm going to start my eBay business with, you know, and I'm just going to, you know, keep it on the grind, keep it on the hustle, get up early every day and hit it. And that's what this is all about. That's what this channel is all about. Follow me on this road to success.